Every great endeavor, whether you're launching a startup, leading a movement, it always starts with a picture of the future. But here's a problem we see all the time. That vision, it just stays trapped inside the leader's head. It's passionate, sure, but it's also vague and utterly unusable by anyone else. So today, we're diving deep into that gap between powerful momentum and, well, costly mediocrity. And our sources all say the key is a ruthless, just, and unforgiving clarity.
That vagueness you mentioned, it's like organizational quicksand. I mean, think about it. If you can't describe the vision clearly, how can you expect people to internalize it? They won't commit to something they don't fully grasp. And when that abstract idea finally gets shared, if it isn't plain, your teams just drift, energy scatters, and all that friction from the confusion just grinds the whole mission to a halt.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really isolate that strategic advantage of clarity. We're actually going back to this ancient text that mandates we write the vision, make it plain, and from that, we're going to extract some practical, modern steps you can use right now to turn that inspiration into concrete, measurable direction. The source for this is Habakkuk's directive. And it came from this moment of just profound frustration. He was looking at the world and basically asking, why aren't you acting? And the response he got was this incredible strategic mandate. Write the vision, make it plain, so he may run that reads it.
It's amazing how strategic that is. It isn't just about documentation, ticking a box. It's an urgent call for transmission. The vision, like you said, starts in the leader's mind. But if it stays there, well, it's prone to distortion, to personal bias.
Yeah.
You forget things. Writing it down gives it a public, permanent substance.
But the real power is in that second part, is make it plain. What do the sources really say about the weight of that command?
The Hebrew word there is bar. And it doesn't just mean, scribble it down. It means to engrave distinctly or to elucidate. It's demanding a total removal of jargon and ambiguity. It's almost like carving the vision into stone so there is absolutely no room for different interpretations.
So it's not just about sharing the vision. It's about sharing it in a way that is utterly unmistakable. But here's where I want to push back a little. Isn't that incredibly hard for a leader? Someone who is so immersed in the nuance and complexity of their own idea. To strip all that away, don't you risk losing the grandeur of the idea by making it too simple?
That's the core tension, absolutely. But the grandness of the vision is useless if it's only grand to you. Clarity is. It's a function of mobilization. Remember, the full mandate. It has to be plain so that a herald may run with it. The second that herald, the person carrying the message, has to stop, think, or ask for clarification,
The momentum is just gone.
it's gone. If your vision creates friction, it slows the running. The real test of clarity isn't how well you understand it, it's how fast they can run with it. And to get that frictionless mobilization, our sources point to 3 essential principles. These are what turn an abstract idea into something that Harold can just grab and go. First, you need simplicity. This means you have to refine the vision down to its essential core. Simplicity isn't about dumbing it down, it's about maximizing accessibility. If it's too dense, people try to memorize it, they fail, and then they just stop trying to own it.
I think simplicity also acts as a kind of, like an internal filter for the leader. It forces you to prioritize.
Yeah.
Sources point to Habitat for Humanity as a perfect example of this. Seeking to put God's love into action, Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, communities, and hope. It's incredibly profound, but it's also just utterly simple.
Exactly. Simple words for a very complex, high-stakes mission. And that brings us to the second principle, specificity. Simplicity lets people grasp the vision. Specificity lets them act on it immediately. A vague statement like, we will increase our global influence, that could take a year of committee meetings just to define.
Right, and this connects directly back to that idea of running. If I'm the herald, specificity tells me exactly what direction I need to start sprinting in.
Absolutely. It eliminates that decision paralysis. It gets rid of so much waste. Just consider the contrast. A vague leader says, we will grow our church. Okay, that tells me nothing about my contribution. But a specific statement is, we will launch 3 new small groups to disciple 30 new believers in the next year. Now I know exactly what to do. I know what to organize, who to recruit, what success looks like. Specificity answers that critical question from your team. How do I contribute?
And the third one, finally, is memorability. This is basically the internal marketing for the vision. If people can't easily recall it, repeat it, and share it with others, it can't become that guiding mantra for daily decisions.
Precisely. Memorability is the mechanism that lets the vision live on, beyond the leader's direct supervision. When it's Simple, specific, and it has that emotional resonance. It just becomes part of the organizational DNA. It sticks.
So often you see organizations stuck in this execution chasm. They'll have an inspiring leader, a really noble vision, but they just can't translate it into tangible, consistent action.
Yeah.
So if the vision isn't plain, what are those immediate consequences?
Well, the immediate consequence is a lack of focused effort. That confusion shows up in a few ways. First is misalignment, where you have good people all working hard but on conflicting priorities. Then you get apathy, because the vision feels too big for them to actually contribute to. Then analysis paralysis, because the path forward is just too murky. And the worst one is burnout. People work hard, but since their effort is misdirected, they end up exhausted and frustrated with no meaningful results to show for it.
Let's make this real. The case study in our sources, the one about the church that went through this exact transformation, what was their starting point? Why wasn't it working?
Yeah, this was a mid-sized church, and they were just drifting, stagnant. Their original vision was totally noble, but honestly, toothless. It was to be a loving community that honors God and serves others.
That sounds great in a sermon. But on a Tuesday afternoon when someone asks, so what should I be doing? What's the answer?
There is no answer. It gives you no practical instruction at all. So the leadership had to clarify the what. They asked themselves, what are the 3 core actions that demonstrate this love and service right here? And they moved away from the passive description, the to be, and focused on active verbs and tangible outcomes.
So what was the refined statement, the one that finally got the organization moving?
They distilled it into 3 active parts: to passionately pursue Jesus, build authentic community, and joyfully serve our city.
That immediately answers the how do I contribute question. The difference between honors God and passionately pursue Jesus is huge. One is conceptual, the other demands daily engagement from you.
And the shift was transformative, because each phrase became an actionable instruction for different teams. Joyfully serve our city wasn't just vague charity anymore. It immediately spawned specific, measurable actions. They started a community food pantry. They organized quarterly city cleanups. The key takeaway is that an actionable, plain vision decentralizes leadership. Everyone knows their specific role in pushing the cause forward.
Okay, so even when leaders get the need for clarity, they still fall into these traps. What are the common pitfalls that just sabotage the whole mission?
There are 2 main culprits. Pitfall 1 is what we call ambiguous vision statements. They're way too broad. They rely on these vague, positive adjectives like, we seek excellence and maximum impact through synergistic growth.
Oh, no.
Right. If your vision statement could apply equally well to a coffee shop, a military unit, and a church, it's uselessly ambiguous. It just breeds confusion and eventually cynicism.
And pitfall 2 is my personal favorite. Lofty or overly complex statements. These are the ones stuffed with jargon or philosophical concepts that seem designed just to make the leader sound smart. Something like, to actualize an eschatological paradigm shift within the sociocultural fabric.
Stop.
Did someone really write that? Who reads that and thinks, yes, I know exactly what I need to do this afternoon to actualize an eschatological paradigm shift. It just sounds overwhelming. It feels totally detached from reality.
It does. That kind of language creates a huge disconnect. Your followers either feel inadequate because they can't grasp it, or they just check out entirely, because the complexity confirms that the vision belongs to the leadership, not to the people doing the work.
So if the pitfalls are too much vagueness on one side and too much complexity on the other, how do we force ourselves into that sweet spot of plainness? This is where that practical tool comes in, right? The 3-sentence vision statement.
Exactly. This is a tool taught in leadership workshops to overcome exactly those pitfalls. It's a mechanism that forces you to distill all that complexity into compelling clarity. It makes you define 3 non-negotiable elements. Sentence 1 has to define the aspiration or calling. That's the emotional driving why. Why do we exist? Sentence 2 is the core action or method, the specific what. What must we consistently do to achieve the why? And sentence 3 defines the desired impact or outcome, the tangible who. Who are we changing, or what specific reality are we creating?
This process is so essential because it prevents you from stopping at just the why. It forces you into the actionable what. It takes those complicated abstract ideas and converts them into that concise, memorable mandate we need. The sources show these drafts being refined into a strong statement like, we exist to see lives transformed by Christ. We do this by building vibrant community and releasing people into their God-given calling.
And that is simple, specific, and memorable. That is a statement the Herald can truly run with. #tag outro.
This has been a really powerful deep dive. To recap everything, Clarity isn't a bonus. It's not a nice to have. It is the strategic discipline that focuses passion and mobilizes action. When the vision is written plain, it stops being a suggestion. It becomes the ultimate decision-making filter for your daily life and your work. It ensures that all your resources, all your energy, are always aligned with your highest purpose.
And this choice, the choice for plainness, it's the foundation of any enduring legacy. The ultimate test of a leader's vision is whether it can transcend their own lifetime. We all have to ask ourselves, when the next generation reads our tablet, what will they find? Will they find revelation, a clear, actionable purpose they can immediately run with? Or will they find riddles, muddled ideas and confusion that just cause a whole organization to stall?
The choice to write it plain really does define the future you leave behind.